Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us again in our next episode on the season of building greener businesses. And in this episode, we have Martin and Rachel from Bassadone's. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Lovely to be here.
Thank you guys. And so can you first of all explain your role within the Bassadone group and how long you've been there for?
So I'm the Facilities and Sustainability Director. I've been in the group for 13 years. And the main thing I've done is move the businesses from Devil's Tower Road to the dockyard.
Which
so
was
to delivering them. That's been my main thing for the last 13 years. Pretty much since I joined. So yeah, and at the moment most of the buildings are finished and built, so my role now is more on the facilities and making sure the buildings are maintained and working properly.
It must have been a mission to start and change that, no?
A lot, and there were buildings that we had to adapt. We were fortunate enough to be given the historic dockyard, so we were restricted in what we were able to change. So the focus was consulting with everyone to make sure that we could fit what we wanted inside the buildings as they were.
Yeah.
I couldn't move columns, we couldn't.
Heritage.
So fortunately it worked. It worked. A lot of practicing, we took cars down and literally put cones on the ground and parked cars and see if we could fit them, and where they wanted 5 cars, maybe only 4 could fit.
Yeah.
But it worked, and we had the space, so we managed to move everyone across.
Rachel?
Yeah, so I am the corporate sustainability lead in Bassadone, and I've also been with the company for 13 years. I've moved around in different areas within the organization, from IT, logistics, sales, and I've been with Martin now for the last 5 years. And I too have obviously seen a lot of changes, growth, diversification, and all for the better. But obviously we're seeing a lot of innovation as well coming in, a lot of different ways of working and more reporting and more due diligence. So I guess this is why the sustainability agenda has really picked up in our industry for the last 2
So
years.
since when have you seen this being picked up? How long ago more or less? Did you see the big trend of we need to change policies and get this moving?
Well, for me, we were lucky that we were moving.
Yeah.
So the intention was to future-proof as much as possible and take the opportunity of obviously the massive investment that the group made in getting things done from our ambitions list. So for example, we were able to put solar panels across the site. We're very fortunate that our ratio of roof to building is very high.
Yeah.
So that worked. Because it was a new build, it was easy to install, well, easier and slightly cheaper to install the infrastructure to charge electric cars.
Right.
However, when we moved, which is now, we've been there for 5 years, electric cars weren't as established as they are today. So a lot of it was thinking about where we'd need the chargers and laying infrastructure in preparation for having the chargers. So to be perfectly honest, day one we didn't have any chargers on site.
Right.
But we had the ducts to lay 14 of them.
Yeah.
Today we have about 8 or 10 installed on site, both to charge client vehicles as well as to charge our in-house fleet.
Yeah, I was looking in the one of the agenda. No, you guys have that. Let me see the
strategy.
It's the whole strategy, right? And this was launched last year.
We started working on it about almost 2 years ago, and it was officially launched in January, so this year. And that just, it speaks about, it's a narrative behind who we are, our history. So Martin mentioned, obviously, we've had the relocation to the dockyard. We've been able to preserve a lot of the historical aspects of it, not just obviously in terms of our company, but as well as the community, Gibraltar's heritage. So that speaks about where we're at, the changes in the industry that we're likely to face and have already been seeing in the last few years, and also where we intend to go. That strategy is about 5 years. It's a 5-year ambition.
Yeah.
It's looking at our business priority targets in sustainability and also has business priority actions and sustainability, and then targets at the end. So
see, I was looking at the targets, and they're really, really ambitious. I mean, it's really exciting, right? to be able to see the goal and the way that you guys want to go forward. Because I mean, it was incredible to see the amount of scope and the impact that Bassadone Group does have, because it's not just in Gibraltar, right? You guys are international.
That's one of the milestones. It's the first, for lack of a better phrase, a piece of work that we've done as a group. So the instruction from the board for this was, it's a group document. The targets have to be met by the Bassadone as a group. So that was really challenging, because there are things there that, for example, Gibraltar already meets 100%,
Right.
but our colleagues in the north or in England don't. So we had to, it's ambitious for them. The reverse is also true. There are targets there that the companies in the UK or in the Nordics have achieved, and it's up to us to catch up.
Right.
At the moment, we're working on the premise of nobody gets left behind. So we're trying to coordinate all the entities to go progressing more or less at the same pace.
And I was seeing that the main people are the board of directors that are on
Yeah.
top of this all the time, right? So you've got a really good structure with your sustainability sort of groups, right?
Yeah.
And it
so
goes all the way from down up, or from the top to
from the top. Yeah. So the board has appointed 2 board members to lead sustainability. That was very important, and obviously one of them being one of the shareholder of the firm. So we have the double whammy of, obviously you've got the pressure from the board, but also you have the power of the board coming down. So when we ask people to do things, that obviously we have a good mandate and a very strong mandate to do things. But like I said, the reverse is we have a lot to deliver.
So where do you think is difficult? Are you going to find the difficulties in reaching these targets in Gib? Where are you finding the challenges more from to reach these targets in 2030?
I think it's the good thing is that the direction from the board, to be honest, isn't so much meet the targets as make sure the company and the group operates as a sustainable business.
Right.
So the challenge for us and Rachel particularly is to change the culture, to instill new working practices, to align our operations with sustainability, get people thinking about sustainability when they make a business decision. That's the challenge, and I think if that is achieved, the targets will flow.
And how are you noticing that?
Well, so far internally, I mean, since we launched in January, the collaboration, the excitement, I guess, with the targets, because it is, like Martin mentioned, it is a new document, and it's the first group document that's ever existed. And for many colleagues, especially those that have been there for quite a while, and equally, the new generations that we have coming in, and they expect businesses and employers to be more sustainable. There has been a lot of interest and a lot of interesting conversations, because it takes people away from their day-to-day and actually thinking a little bit outside the box and really having that dialogue of where can we improve. I mean, we have that culture anyway, about continuous improvement. But it's also considering, all the sustainability lenses. It's the planet, it's the people, it's how we're going to do it, the governance. That's why for us the governance structure was so important when we started this journey 2 years ago, because we said, right, this is a due diligence piece, it's a reporting piece that we need to do on sustainability and really explain to consumers that we're more than just cars. There's a lot more behind the walls of the dockyard that we do, and the impact that we have both locally and also globally, because we've also got the export business. So it's been a very good opportunity to take people away from their day-to-day and unpack a little bit what other things we can do in sustainability to really think, future thinking and not just a reactive approach. So to be honest, so far so good. Obviously, this is not an overnight thing, and it's a cultural piece. It's changing that mindset a little bit.
Yeah, and particularly the mindset that people think sustainability is just environment. That's one of the big challenges for us, and I think that we're getting through to people on that one. That one, I think, because it's more mainstream, and I think people are generally now more aware that sustainability is about the impact on communities. And not just your carbon footprint. It's an important part of it, and I have targets for that.
It's well-being, it's mental health, it's taking care of the
So-
people that you have
Yeah.
around you and the world. I mean, at the
Yeah.
end of the day,
Absolutely.
it's respect for both.
Yeah, so we
Absolutely.
captured that, as you said, we've got a lot of targets, and we feel the targets are good in the sense that they are wide-ranging and cover all the bases. It's not about hitting this percentage of carbon emissions by this year. It's taking care of people, make sure that the mental well-being is addressed, and we have targets for that.
And thinking outside the box a little bit. No, I can imagine
Okay.
technologies as well must have been something that's really, it's
Also,
evolving,
with
right?
the rise of AI, you need to consider
Yes.
that as well, the impact.
Yeah.
Not in our industry, but in every industry.
In every-
in everyday lives for consumers.
Yes.
It's a lot of things that are changing and evolving as we have to always be thinking of the environment and think of our future generations, but there's also technologies as well that we need to keep up with. And sometimes it helps us, sometimes not so much, sometimes all these things. So it's a balance, the balance of life. So I was reading up on this, and I was really particularly interested in the car sharing and the end of life. I loved that because I know that there's this, you know, with electric cars and these talks that you have with people, and do you want to change to electric? When is the right time to change to electric? Is the infrastructure going to be there? Is the infrastructure? And then people always say, because there's always going to be a, bueno, ¿y qué pasa lo último? And the end of life process. And I love that you guys mentioned that in this book.
There's a lot to that point. I think when it comes to electrification and from a consumer point of view, ultimately we always, to be a sustainable business and to really preach what we've written, we offer the client the product or vehicle that best suits their needs. Sometimes that does not mean that it's electric, okay, which is a point obviously that has to be raised. Where we do encourage a client, a potential customer to take a hybrid or a greener vehicle, ultimately has to fit their needs, right? The market that we're in at the moment, it's still developing, the infrastructure is still not quite there, and that's also something that has to be taken into consideration when you do get a client coming to the showroom. Or what we do really as a company is we are trying to enable the shift to electrification where it's possible. So an example is the bus tender that we were awarded with the government. You know, we're enabling the transition where we can and where the need fits, but we're not dictating the transition.
It's the best way to go.
So for us, what we could do was hypocritical. So we did is, we analyzed all our in-house vehicles, and pretty much I think 80% we were able to change to electric. And the good thing was, because we, like I said before, we had planned for the infrastructure, we were able to do it overnight. So we planned it, and I think in the space of a month, we changed our fleet from internal combustion engines to electric, except for 3 cars, which were more commercial trucks, that there isn't a product yet for that use. And then what we further did is we analyzed what the cars were being used for, and we were able to consolidate and create a carpool. So we have 3 electric vehicles that people book and use.
Is that for employees?
Employees.
Brilliant. That's lovely.
But then there were others, like our teams that have to move out to collect goods or to collect vehicles, move vehicles. They have a dedicated vehicle. So we looked at the needs. We bought some electric panel vans for cargo and for goods. And I think we also got 3 passenger cars, so it's 9-seaters, which are electric. And importantly, we then set up the infrastructure to charge those on all our sites. So we have, for our in-house staff, or our in-house vehicles rather, there are 4 charging points dedicated in the dockyard. We have another one at Lathbury where we park our cars, and we have another one at the frontier where we collect our vehicles. Because the vehicle that takes the drivers to collect the vehicles that have been delivered is at the frontier, and it's an electric car, so we made sure we have chargers everywhere. That is infrastructure point ticked. So there's no anxiety from our drivers that they're going to get stuck on the road without battery. So if we're able to enable the infrastructure, so range anxiety disappeared. And to be honest, we found them, it gave us no problems at all. And in fact, I know that we've been able to take some to Spain, so it's not just Gibraltar driving. So when we go to visit our colleagues in Algeciras, last visit we went in the company electric car. I mean, it's a very reasonable journey. We don't go to Barcelona on an electric car. We just
I
don't
think it's just about managing what you're going to do, no? I think that, like we're saying, the technologies and there's infrastructures that are growing as the years and as the months go by. So it's just about looking to see what's around. But the carpool is something. Is that something that you're starting with, like maybe management companies, bringing it into different companies around Gibraltar? Is it something that you've thought?
It's doable. Mm-hmm. It's difficult because of, even for us internally, things like insurance, things like if the car comes back and there's damage, who damaged it. Mm-hmm. So I think it can be rolled out to other companies, but it's more difficult just to roll it out to the general public because of, like I said, insurance issues. And damage. Also, you take care of the car, then somebody doesn't. You come to the pool to pick up the car, and it's full of rubbish, or they've had the takeaway inside the. Once someone takes the car, you don't know what it's going to be used for, really.
The business case makes more sense from a sustainable case point if you keep it in house. At this stage, anyway. So
it would be something to recommend for different companies to do within their own.
And we've had shared with different companies and stakeholders the way that we've done things internally. So it's planting the seed in their minds if they haven't thought about it, because we consolidated first all our vehicles when we moved from Gibraltar Road. So we not only converted to electric, but we were also able to consolidate and reduce our fleet by a considerable amount, which was also very good.
That's amazing. So for talking about the structure and the building, is there any other changes that you're looking into doing into Bassadone, or is there going to be another phase that we're going to be looking into?
No. At the moment we've got one more building which it's being done as we speak, to put the solar panels on. So we've hit a good design, and we have future expansion because our roofs are pitched. At the moment we've only covered, which is already the most efficient way to do it, any roof pitch that faces south. So essentially we've only covered 50% of our roof with solar panels, and they're super efficient. Fortunately, the consultants that we used to design this have told us that putting them on the north side, the silent is less strong, but they will still perform about 65% of production. So we're running the numbers to see if it makes sense even to run them at that level. So that's one thing actively in terms of future expansion that we're looking at on an environmental and sustainability point.
Energy efficiency.
Yes, and the other thing that we're doing, like I said before, is just making sure that we roll out similar technologies in the Nordics, in the UK, and in Spain.
Brilliant. Is there anything else that you wanted to add, or cuéntame? What plans are you looking into? So how are you looking into doing your targets? Like, what would be, from, if we had this conversation, let's just say I'm going to ask this question of, in 5 years, what would be your thought of, yes, we've made it, we've reached our targets?
So I think it's important to mention that this is our first stab at a strategy, formalized black and white document that says we've got this many targets and we need to complete them by this date. But those dates are not set in stone in the sense that we're not looking at the end of 5 years to complete them all, in as much as obviously it's a group document and we all have to be singing off the same hymn sheet, but as long as at the end of 5 years we can say that we have improved in our scope emissions, particularly our scope 1 and 2, which we're already working on our calculations on that, and that is reported at board level and management level, because again it's all about the culture shift and the knowledge sharing and people understanding our impact, and once they do, then obviously the more people's buy-in you get, which is super important. So I think at the end of 5 years, if we can look at our targets and we can say we have improved, maybe some we haven't necessarily completely achieved 100%, but we have improved in the areas that we really felt passionate about, that had the biggest impact, then we will be happy. And also, if at the end of the 5 years, and I say 5 years because it's this document, we have been able to get to that mindset and that cultural shift, and people are embedding sustainability into their day-to-day, and as we've said many times, operationalizing sustainability, then I think we'd be happy. And it doesn't mean to say that in 5 years' time this journey ends, because we're in this obviously for the long haul. And after 5 years, a new strategy will come along because the industry is changing, the planet, technology, you know, the geopolitical influences and all sorts that are going on in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
I can imagine the document looking very differently in 5 years' time. But I think if we're able to improve and add value to our people, the planet, with good governance, I think we'll be very happy.
I think you guys are doing really well. It's incredible, and well done. I mean, I have to say though, I mean, you started in a really good way. You finished last year with winning the Sustainability Award.
Yes.
So I mean, that's just an incredible award in itself. So it's been lovely to read this. It's been incredible to talk to you guys, and I think we can talk about this
all day.
All day. I mean, I would go through the whole book, but it would be great to have you guys back to have another chat in a few months.
We'd love to. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you guys. See you soon.